Hello family, I'm going to be showing you guys how I made my signature goat meat stew. If you want to see how I made this, keep on watching. I washed the goat meat, put it in a pot, blended one big onion without water and added that onion to the goat meat. I also added a teaspoon of garlic paste. You can also use fresh or powder. A teaspoon of ginger paste. You can also use fresh or powder as well. I'll be adding some rosemary leaves, some white pepper, a stick of cinnamon. If you've never used cinnamon in cooking your meat, give it a try. You won't regret it. Now I'm adding seasoning cube. I will not be adding any water in this pot, and you're going to see how it comes out. I'm adding some bay leaves, some salt, and I'm going to cover to cook for a little bit. After about 8 minutes, I opened to stir and let all that flavor just mix together. And I'm going to cover again to cook for a little bit. I opened to stir again after about 10 minutes. The aroma in my house right now, oh my God, I can't explain. The aroma of the cinnamon, the rosemary is filled in my house. And I'm covering again to continue cooking. After about another 10 minutes, you can see that the goat meat has extracted its own juice, which is what I want. I want the goat meat to cook in its own juice. I want this goat meat to be packed with flavors. I'm covering again to cook until the water gets dry or almost dry. Now the water is almost dry, and I'm going to be checking to make sure that the goat meat is cooked thoroughly. I checked it, and it's not cooked all the way because I like my goat meat really soft. I'm going to be adding some water to cook it through. Just a little water. I'm stirring it, and I'm going to cover again to cook until the goat meat is cooked really soft to the texture that I want. Now I'm opening it to check. When I checked it, it was cooked really soft to the texture that I want. Then I'm going to be transferring it to my baking tray to grill it in the oven. You can choose to deep fry it, it's okay, but I'm not going to deep fry mine. I'm going to grill it in the oven. I grilled the goat meat for about 20 minutes. We're going to start making the stew. Now you see this right here, in here right now, is a burst of flavors. I'm just going to dump in my blended tomato, pepper, and onions that I've already cooked down. To that, I'm going to add a can of tomato sauce. I'm rinsing that container where the tomato was, and just to add a little water to it. I'm not going to be adding any oil. Now I'm adding some paprika. If you want color in your food, paprika is the secret to color, to good color. I'm giving it a good stir and let everything mix together, and I'm going to cover it to cook for another 7 to 8 minutes. You will see why I'm not adding any oil to this pot. you can see some oil on top of the pot already. I'm going to use just that oil that came out from the goat meat to cook this stew. Are we bringing in the goat meat? Sometimes we don't need any extra oil in our foods. For those of us who don't like added oil to foods, you need to give this stew a try. When I bring in the goat meat, I'm going to stir and cover to cook so that that sauce can enter the goat meat. I don't need to add any more salt or Maggi or any more seasoning because everything that was left in the pot from the goat meat is already there. It's perfect for it. I don't need to add anything extra. After I let it cook for about 7 to 8 minutes, look at that. You can see the oil already on top of the stew. We don't need to add any more oil. And give it a good stir. And here it is. The stew is ready. I didn't add any oil, extra oil. I only used the oil from the goat meat. You can serve it with rice, boiled plantain, yam, potato. We had ours with rice and it was delicious. As always, enjoy.